let me see if it's going to go here. Okay. Hi, everybody. Sorry for being late. I've had a crazy day. My son, Michael, I'll just show you. Let me show you real quick. I'll show you something that will make you maybe laugh. Maybe laugh. He got it for me to make me laugh. Because I told you a long time ago when I did the, let's see. I did that Mega Millions thing, and I was talking about the big check. I wanted the big check. Well, that was because Ray and I used to always talk about that we would, if we won that thing, we would truly want the big check to be brought to us, that big check. And that's when I was talking to that Mega Millions guy for the time. I said, you have to give me the big check with the balloons and all of that. And so I'll show you some of the things. So Gia was just in Switzerland. So this is part of my Mother's Day. So there was the Swiss chocolate came first. Then they got me this little Big Eyes. It's hard to see her here. Come on, over there. Big Eyes doll keychain thingy. She's very cute. Then they got this little Scotty in an antique store. And they said, do you have a Scotty? And he said, my mother has Scotties. And she said, I knew somebody with a Scotty would buy that. Okay, and then they know I love mugs and sunflowers, so then they got me this one. Well, the gift shop up when they were in New Paltz. And it's very bright and yellow inside, so very nice on this. And then the funny thing. This tremendous box of candy, which they got into the Boscov's department store. So this is a huge, he goes, it's like that big check, Mom. So yeah, this huge box of candy. It's crazy. So then he took me, we went out to lunch. Oh, that was funny. We went to two different places. We had a very nice lunch. I filled him in on all the celebration antics. And speaking of the celebration, let me show where's the Louvre. I know you might not be here, but maybe you're watching because you were around a little bit. Maybe you're watching on a replay. I want to show you something because I told Where's the Louvre that I shared the napkins. Where's the Louvre got me those Celebrate napkins, and I brought some on the celebration, and a few people took them. I think Scooter, Janae, Evie, formerly known as It's Pink, took them, and Evie made this with it. So Where's the Louvre? I have to make this a little smaller, it looks like, because it's too large. So Evie made a Let's Celebrate shell. Okay, and so there's that. And what else? Where else do I have to catch you up? So yeah, with that, and then Ethan, I have to get a hat, a certain Columbia hat for him, and yeah, Alexandra gave him a gift card that he's got to use, so I've done that. Oh, we did our walk today. Still, let me tell you, I got back from, we had like a dinner, because by the time my son came here first, Then we were trying to decide where to go to eat, but on Monday, a lot of places are closed. So we were calling around. Finally, we ended up in the same town that he has the restaurant in, and we went to one Greek place, and we kind of walked out of there because it didn't really like the selection. It was a new place. And then we went to this other Greek place, and that's where we went. And then we went back to his house, and Gia and we visited there for a while. Then we walked Roman. Then Gia was going to go to the gym, so he was going to go hang out, and then they were going to go to the next county after that, and then they were going to go, have dinner and stuff. So we had a nice day. And when I got back home, it was probably about 5 o'clock, and Elle did her walking with her friend on some pier, so she got her walking done. But then Janae and I and Chris Reed did our walk. So, Sunrisa, I realize now who you are, and if you want to get in the Zoom and walk with us, you just have to email me and I'll give you the number. So anybody that wants to walk with us, and I even did it with a sore toe, but I still managed to do, let me see how many miles today, 4.28 miles. And because that toe that lost the skin when I was on vacation, well, somehow last night I was messing with it, and I kind of opened it up again, so it was sore. So I was soaking it today, and then I bandaged it up, and I still managed to get my walk in there. And then I was going to do some of the spin bike. Tomorrow I have to go for a physical. I'm sorry, I'm putting up my life story. Tomorrow is my physical, so that'll be in the afternoon. So I probably won't be, but there'll be other people in Zoom walking, so you can go in there and walk. And then I'll probably do spinning later at night. Okay. Now I think I'm all caught up. So let me go and see the... let me put on live chat. See who's here and say hi. Sinrisa, how are you? Deborah Vancouverden. Kevin's tired because he spent his Mother's Day. So he can do it on Monday too. With his mom, right? And he hasn't had much sleep, but they had fun. That's all that matters. Linda, Chris Ree, Elle, Senrisa, To Scooter, Justina, Liz Tops, Ann Rose, Margot. Let's see. Christina Ferrari, Linda Uribe. Hi, Linda. Lisa L. What else do we have here? LMNW 50. My appointment is tomorrow also. Is it really? I think that's the same time as my appointment. Are you serious? Wow. Okay. Rambler Physical Day. All right. That'll be fun. But let's look at Lori's new mugshot, because she braided her hair for her mugshot. Where did I put you, Lori? Lori, where did I put you? Hold on. Okay. Here is Lori's new mugshot. Come here, Lori. Why are you out of focus here, Lori? Hold on. It's in the thumbnail, but I'm going to refresh this because it's out of focus on this. Unless it's my eyes that are really going. There's Lori. Lori was transported to another Idaho jail after Friday's conviction of killing her 2 children and conspiring in the death of Tammy Daybell. she was moved from Ada County Jail, where she was prosecuted, to Madison County Jail following the 3 guilty verdicts. The Madison County Jail houses all female inmates who were convicted in Fremont County. A pre-sentence investigation must be conducted before Lori Vallow Daybell is back in the Madison County Jail, and District Judge Stephen Boyce said the process will take about 3 months. If sentenced to prison, which is likely, Vallow Daybell will be moved to the Pocatello Women's Correctional Center. Afterwards, prosecutors in Maricopa County, Arizona, will start the case against her for the conspiring to kill her 4th husband, Charles Vallow, that she's charged with. In July of 2019, her brother, Alex Cox, fatally shot Charles Vallow. Then Cox reportedly died of natural causes December of 2019, and he claimed it was self-defense. Boyce's pre-sentencing report will detail Lori Vallow Daybell's crimes, the results of any mental health and substance abuse evaluations, and a pre-sentencing investigator's assessment of her condition. After 7 hours of deliberation, a jury found her guilty of killing Tylee Ryan, J.J. Vallow, and conspiring in the October 2019 death of Tammy Daybell, which was her current husband's wife at the time. Chad Daybell has been charged with the same charges, but his trial, now they're saying like 2024 or something. What is it? My watch is telling me to breathe. Okay, breathe, Carolyn. Oh, okay. A trial date for Chad has not yet been set, but it's not looking too good, Chatty. Chatty Cathy. No, it's not looking good. Okay, and then we have, when we were away in South Carolina, there was a time I remember we were at a restaurant, and I think it was Elle, my daughter, and I were at the restaurant, and I said, oh my gosh, and in my feed, it was somebody that I knew that had posted about this horrific Folly Beach accident. And I just thought, wow, like, that is just crazy that we would be down in that area, and then this, and by someone I know. So what happened here, if you haven't heard about this, there was a wedding in Folly Beach, and the bride and groom and 2 others in the wedding party were in a golf cart, and the golf cart was struck by a drunk driver, and the wife, the brand new bride, was killed, and the groom was in critical condition at the time. Well, now he's speaking out for the first time. I believe it's the first time. So he gave her a touching tribute, a beach tribute, Saturday, after his wife was killed by an alleged drunk driver. And it was a gathering to pay tribute to his deceased bride, Samantha Hutchinson, who was just 34 years old. Eric Hutchinson sustained a brain injury and broken bones in the crash on April 28th, just moments after his wedding reception in Folly Beach. The emotional ceremony surrounded around 100 others. Samantha was pronounced dead shortly after 10 p.m. She left her wedding reception in a low-speed vehicle, which is a golf cart, with the groom when an alleged drunk driver identified as Jamie Lee Komorowski smashed into them in the 1200 block of E. Ashley Avenue. And sometimes you hear of these things, and it's like, oh my gosh, you hear like bride and groom are like in an accident on the way, or the bride is in an accident, a crash or something on the way to the ceremony. I mean, this is just horrific. they were leaving their ceremony. Initial reports indicated that the couple was on a golf cart, but police confirmed they were on a LSV, which is similar to a golf cart, but legal to drive on roads. Yeah, well, the golf carts in South Carolina, they are legal to drive on roads. So I don't know. Yeah, so they're calling them LSVs. Among those attending Saturday's vigil included mourners who paddled out to the ocean to release flowers with Sam written on them at the same beach where the couple got married. According to Eric, his late wife was a beach girl. He said the event served as a proper send-off for her, and he was convinced that she was smiling down on them. This is Sam. I mean, she's a beach girl through and through. We do walk here almost every morning, and this is her send-off for sure. She's up there smiling, for sure. Sitting on the shoreline in a wheelchair, Eric said he was recovering, albeit slowly, from the brain injury and multiple broken bones that he sustained in the accident. Despite his condition, he felt good, he said, adding that he believed that his wife would have been honored by the ceremony. And I quote him saying, "My body's getting back to where I can manage, I guess. It's just as good as I can feel with the situation. But obviously, today, the outpouring of people was just amazing. I know Sam would have loved it." Meanwhile, the alleged drunk driver, hired two prominent lawyers, Nathan S. Williams and Christopher S. Gramicioni, to represent her in legal proceedings. The lawyers reportedly said they want the public to refrain from hastily passing judgment on the situation. According to the arrest affidavit, Komorowski became uncooperative with police. She claimed she was not drunk and had a beer and one shot of tequila around an hour before the crash. A responding officer, however, noted that Komorowski had trouble standing and smelled of alcohol. Komorowski also strongly refused a field sobriety test. Police arrested her and subsequently obtained a blood test. The test revealed that she was over 3 times over the legal limit, according to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED. The incident happened on a tight road squeezed by houses, businesses, parked cars that's nearly lightless at night. Director of the Folly Beach Public Safety Department, Andrew Gilreath, said he had visited the site multiple times after he was called out to the crash scene on the night of the incident. One of the things for me that was so eye-opening about the situation was in public safety, you try to mentally insulate yourself from what you're seeing and dealing with. I went home that night and was talking to my wife about what happened, and she was visibly upset. I remember thinking, she wasn't even there and she's visibly upset. It really is such a big deal. It's a tragedy for nonsense, for no reason. And yes, when we were reading about it in the restaurant, yeah, we were just like it was crazy. Hi, Lesso Lacey. How are you? And hi, Nora Woods. Thank you for being a member for 36 months. Appreciate that. Okay, let me go back here to our... Yeah, but I remember, being really like, oh my gosh, that just horrific. Gilreath added that the LSV was legal to drive and had its lights on when it was struck. Komorowski is facing a negligent homicide and DUI involving death. Check back for updates. Yes, these LSV, or very similar to golf carts, are legal there, and you will even see in the supermarkets there and whatnot, they have parking for these vehicles. People take them and use them all over that live in the area, and it's 6-passenger, 4-passenger. It's not unusual to see them at all. They're a way that people get around on these islands. And some of them are even allowed on the beach or like the inlets. Yes. And they will go bring their fish, go out there to fish, and etc., etc. Okay. I want to go to... Yeah, here's a sad story now about a Dallas mom right here. She died Saturday after she was caught in crossfire between a gunman firing at each other from two vehicles traveling down the street. Dallas police identified the victim as 39-year-old Ana Moreno. She was in her vehicle on her way to shop for a prom dress with her teenage daughter. Another daughter, Michelle Rodriguez, said that her mother was anything you would want in a mom. It wasn't her time. It wasn't supposed to be her, and it's over something stupid. How do you do that to someone innocent? Her daughter said, sobbing. Moreno also leaves behind a son. 3 more people, all men, were found at the scene with gunshot wounds and taken to nearby hospitals. Some in critical condition. About mid-afternoon, the shooting happened, police said. Investigators have not released information about the suspects or the vehicles involved, and there have been no arrests as of Sunday afternoon. Anyone with information should contact the Dallas Police Detective Frank Serra at 214-662-4552. Very horrible. Then police are investigating the discovery of a badly decomposed body of a baby found in the woods in Kansas City, Missouri. Officers were called to an area near the intersection of East 41st Street and Pittman Road shortly before 8 p.m. Saturday, after a 911 caller reported finding the body. The caller helped officers find the body, and police determined it was that of a baby who had been deceased for some time. No further details were available, and if anybody has information, please contact detectives at 816-474-TIPS or homicide detectives at 816-234-5043. Investigators are working with the medical examiner to determine what happened and when. The baby's body was too far decomposed for an estimate of the baby's age or other details. Crime scene personnel responded to the location to uncover any evidence that could be found. It's hard not to, not knowing the full story, said the police captain, KCPD Captain Sergeant Jake Bacina. I know every one of the investigators wants to know what happened, what led to this. Whatever the explanation is, we pray that someone didn't intentionally hurt this baby. Sad, that's like the 3rd baby that recently just. And then we have a Maryland kidnapping victim was found naked with stab wounds on each of her fingers Friday night when state police pulled over a U-Haul truck reported to be driving erratically and striking multiple parked vehicles. Police arrested Dennis Bell, 62, charging him with 14 criminal counts, including first-degree assault, kidnapping, false imprisonment, fourth-degree sex offense, possession of suspected crack cocaine, and driving while impaired. He faces 19 traffic charges, in addition, related to the incident. The victim was not identified. Police say she was taken to an area hospital for treatment. According to police, Dennis Bell initially made contact with the victim at a convenience store in southeastern Washington, D.C. Friday morning. The victim said he forced her into the U-Haul truck and threatened to kill her if she didn't comply. While in the truck, the victim said Bell took her clothing and stabbed each of her fingers with a pocket knife. He drove around all day while she sat on the floor of the cab. She told police she had no idea where they were at any point of the day. At around 9:45 p.m., multiple calls came in reporting an erratic U-Haul in the area of Princess Garden Parkway in Lanham. The calls reportedly said that the driver was striking parked vehicles. Troopers were dispatched and found the truck on Route 450 in Lanham. The driver refused to stop when the troopers initiated a traffic stop, so the troopers pursued until the U-Haul became disabled in a ditch at Baltimore Avenue and Elm Street. Bell refused to exit the vehicle or unlock the driver's door, so troopers walked around to the passenger side, and they gained entry through the window on that side and found the victim on the floor. The troopers took the woman out and gave her a jacket until the medical personnel arrived. Bell remained uncooperative and refused to identify himself. Troopers arrested him and took him to the hospital to be checked out before he was taken to the Upper Marlboro Department of Corrections. That's weird that they even took the chance to go there without trying to do something to get him to something interesting. Okay, and then a Detroit nurse who was abducted from the parking lot of the hospital where she worked early Saturday morning was found dead Sunday morning in the trunk of a vehicle in a northern suburb. Patrice Wilson, 29, had just finished her overnight shift at Detroit Medical Center receiving hospital and was getting into her car when the suspect, identified as her ex-boyfriend, Jameer Miller, 36, approached. He approached our victim just as she was getting into the driver's side of her vehicle. He then got inside the vehicle and forced her over and fled with her inside. That happened. Remember that happened recently to somebody else, and they saw it at a Walmart. I forgot about that case until they just said that. And they had video of that. Wilson's mother, Rosalind Livingston, said that someone called her and said they were talking to Patrice on the phone, and they heard screaming, after which the phone went dead. Livingston described Miller as somewhat obsessive. The more she pulled away, he was sending flowers. If you go by her house, there are things at her door that she kind of like left there to let him know, I am not accepting things from you. Livingston said Saturday that she was terrified to lose Wilson after a 15-year-old son was hit by a car while riding his bicycle 20 years ago. Oh my gosh. So this woman already lost a 15-year-old son. Now she lost a daughter at 29. I still don't know to this day who did that. So yeah, I'm going through some things, she said. Wow, poor woman. Making it even harder, it's Mother's Day weekend, and Wilson has a young son. Sources told multiple Detroit news outlets that Wilson was found dead with multiple gunshot wounds. Her body was in the trunk of a vehicle in a parking lot in a suburb just north of Detroit. Miller is still at large, according to police, who describe him as armed and dangerous. Oh my gosh, that poor mother. Prayers for her. And prayers for her child. Detroit Medical Center issued a statement offering heartfelt condolences to the family and friends and DMC colleagues of cherished nurse leader Patrice Wilson, as well as Patrice's mother, another dedicated DMC team member. The statement said grief counseling would be available for staff members. Wow, that's terrible. Okay, so here we go. 2 hours ago, we have this story. Crazy. A Texas 12-year-old is accused of killing a fast food employee with an AR-15 rifle as he argued with another man, who also faces charges in the fatal shooting. The shooting happened Saturday night at a Sonic drive-in restaurant in the Dallas suburb of Keene. The Keene Police Department said officers arrived and found Matthew Davis, 32, with multiple gunshot wounds. He was taken to a hospital where he died. Authorities believe Angel Gomez, 20, was at the Sonic with passengers in his vehicle. He began arguing and acting disorderly in the parking lot and was confronted by Davis, a Sonic employee. Gomez was allegedly urinating in the back of the parking lot when Davis came to talk to him. During the argument, the 12-year-old shooting suspect, who was a passenger in Gomez's vehicle and remains unidentified, grabbed the AR-15 rifle from the car and opened fire. Davis was shot. The child and Gomez fled the area. Gomez later returned to the scene and was arrested. The boy was later arrested at home, and several firearms were recovered. Both are charged with murder. Davis had moved to Keene and started working at the Sonic 2 weeks ago. His family said that he leaves behind a 1-year-old son. Wow. That's horrible. Ow, 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 my foot is, ow. Let's see here. What else do we have? So there's what, some, let me see here. Wow, 2 kids shot overnight. My son was just in D.C., but 2 kids shot overnight in D.C. Separate incidents, unacceptable. 2 children were shot and injured overnight in Washington, D.C. during 2 separate incidents, Sunday and Monday. Both were girls and innocent bystanders. The latest string of shootings comes as D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser unveiled new legislative efforts at increasing public safety ahead of a testimony to lawmakers during a House Oversight Committee hearing scheduled for Tuesday. A 10-year-old girl was shot in the upper body while driving home with family following Mother's Day celebrations at 9 p.m. on Sunday. The family realized the girl had been shot and drove her to the local firehouse, and she was taken to the hospital where she remains in critical condition. The police department doesn't believe the family was an intended target, and the girl was accidentally hit in a barrage of gunfire. Hours later, 4:15 a.m., a 12-year-old girl was shot after a bullet went through the window of her home, struck her in the leg as she was sleeping. The 12-year-old was transported with non-life-threatening injuries. Wow, that's crazy. No arrests have been made, and both cases are still under investigation. Let's see. Metropolitan Police Department Chief Robert Conti speaks with the press and members of the community about the spike in crime in Washington, D.C. Conti told reporters Monday that both shootings were unacceptable. He added, "We have been focusing on a whole of government approach of keeping our community safe." Speaking directly to the community, Conti said, "We truly need the community's help with this case." To the cowards who fired those shots, "You hit a 10-year-old child. I'm asking for the community's help." On Friday, there was another string of shootings. 3 men and one woman were injured during 4 separate incidents in an hour across the district. The first of the 4 incidents happened at 11:35 a.m. and the last happened at 12:31 p.m. Violent crime in the district is up 13% from this time last year. Let's see, it says, during a press conference, Bowser addressed the public's frustration. "I would say if they're hearing gunshots and a child in their community became a victim, I completely understand a frustration with crime, and we're going to do everything we can with the resources available to stop it." In response to growing calls for action, the mayor announced new legislative efforts on Monday. She is expected to answer additional questions from congressional lawmakers on violence in the district on Tuesday during a House hearing titled "Overdue Oversight of the Capital City." And then let's see here. Portland, Oregon, a series of suspected drug overdoses left at least 8 people dead over the weekend in Portland, according to the city's police bureau. 6 of the deaths were likely related to fentanyl, a potent synthetic opioid. Several of those who died believed they were using cocaine when it was actually fentanyl, or a mix of the two substances. Users are warned that there may be a batch of purported cocaine circulating on the street that is particularly dangerous to use. The deaths occurred between early Friday morning and late Saturday afternoon. They're being investigated by the Portland Police Bureau's Narcotics and Organized Crime Unit. Like many states around the county, Oregon in recent years has grappled with a surge in opioid overdose deaths, fueled by fentanyl, a highly addictive and potentially lethal drug. Fentanyl was developed to treat intense pain from ailments like cancer. Use of fentanyl, a powerful synthetic opioid that's cheap to produce and is often sold as is or laced in other drugs, has exploded because it's 50 times more potent than heroin. Even a small dose can be fatal. It has quickly become the deadliest drug in the nation, according to the Drug Enforcement Administration. 2/3 of 107,000 overdose deaths in 2021 were attributed to synthetic opioids like fentanyl. In Multnomah County, home to Portland, more than 60% of the county's 271 opioid overdoses in 2021 involved fentanyl. That year, fentanyl also contributed to a record number of homeless deaths in Portland compared with 2020. The number of homeless deaths involving fentanyl jumped more than 8-fold, from 4 to 36. Statewide, the number of fatal and unintentional overdoses involving fentanyl more than doubled from 2020 to 2021, from 226 to 508, according to the Oregon Health Authority. Fentanyl and methamphetamine were the most common drugs in overdose deaths in 2021. Speaking of that, this is crazy. Two people were arrested in South Carolina for allegedly trying to traffic illicit drugs under a false pregnancy belly. Deputies spoke to suspects Anthony Miller and Samika Mitchum during a traffic stop last month, where Mitchum appeared visibly pregnant. The Anderson County Sheriff's Department said this in a Facebook post on Sunday. The traffic stop was initiated after deputies observed Miller, who was driving zigzagging throughout traffic on Interstate 85 and nearly colliding with an 18-wheeler, the sheriff's office said. Upon being separated and spoken to, the pair allegedly gave deputies conflicting information about Mitchum's due date. As Mitchum realized deputies were becoming more suspicious of her conflicting story, Mitchum immediately took off running, and very quickly drugs fell from the fake rubber stomach. The arrest occurred in April, but the sheriff's office announced the incident on Mother's Day. Deputies discovered more than 1,500 grams of cocaine during the stop, according to the sheriff's office. Inmate records show Miller and Mitchum were denied bond and remain in custody. It's unclear whether Mitchum and Miller have retained attorneys. McDonald's has been found partially liable after two Florida parents claim their 4-year-old daughter suffered second-degree burns from a dangerously hot chicken McNugget, leaving her disfigured and scarred. A jury found the franchise responsible for negligence and failure to warn the customer about the risk of hot food. McDonald's itself was found to have failed to provide instructions for safe handling, but not to be negligent. The lawsuit raises renewed questions about the extent to which food producers should take safety precautions in order to protect their customers. McDonald's denied the claims against it and said it made food safety a top priority. In the lawsuit filed in the 17th Judicial Circuit in Broward County, Philana Holmes and Humberto Caraballo Estevez claimed that on August 21st of 2019, the mother drove their then 4-year-old daughter, who is not named, and her brother to a McDonald's drive-thru in Tamarack, which is a suburb of Fort Lauderdale. There, she purchased a 6-piece Chicken McNuggets Happy Meal. Documents go on to say that nuggets in the meal were unreasonably and dangerously hot and caused a burn on the child's thigh after being stuck behind her seatbelt. In a deposition, Holmes said her daughter's upper thigh was really, really red when she removed the nugget from it. She's screaming, she's yelling. The lawsuit, originally filed with the court, alleges that the nuggets were included in the Happy Meal are intended for a child and therefore should have been able to be touched by bare skin. It said the franchisee and the restaurant chain had a duty not to sell chicken nuggets that were defective, harmful, and unfit for human handling, let alone consumption. It also claimed that the defendants had failed to adequately train and supervise workers handling the cooking of chicken nuggets at the store, which it said amounted to negligence. The lawsuit specifically noted that McDonald's had failed to provide an appropriate warning for the foreseeable risk of harm on either the Happy Meal box or the box containing the chicken nuggets, which may have reduced or avoided the risk. The couple are demanding $15,000 in compensatory damages, saying they have been left with continued medical expenses for their child, who it says has sustained bodily injuries as well as experiencing pain, suffering, mental anguish, and emotional distress. A second jury will now be convened to decide how much the defendants must pay in compensation. In a legal response from McDonald's, included in the court documents, the company denied all the allegations against it and said that the injuries detailed were the result of partially caused by pre-existing conditions which were unrelated to this accident, though it did not specify what those conditions were. Scott Yount, a Tampa-based lawyer representing McDonald's at the trial, told local news that the child had dropped all 6 nuggets onto her lap and that the burn was in the one location where the McNugget was trapped by the seatbelt for 2 minutes. In a statement, the McDonald's spokesperson said, "This was an unfortunate incident, but we respectfully disagree with the verdict. Our customers should continue to rely on McDonald's to follow policies and procedures for serving chicken McNuggets safely." Franchise Brent Upchurch said his sympathies go out to the family for the unfortunate incident, but added, "We are deeply disappointed with today's verdict because the facts show that our restaurant in Tamarack, Florida, did indeed follow those protocols when cooking and serving this Happy Meal." That sounds crazy. I'm sorry, that sounds absolutely crazy. Well, I knew that Jimmy said that something about Suzanne Morphew was happening. So the, let's see here, what's going on here. So Mother's Day marked 3 years since Suzanne Morphew's disappearance after heading out on a bike ride in 2020. Although her body has yet to be found, her husband was arrested and charged with her murder in 2021. The charges were dropped before trial for insufficient evidence. However, there are many people who still believe Barry remains a prime suspect. Yet, the daughters say no, they say their dad is innocent. Yeah. Okay, so we've got all that. Let's go back to our thing here and see. The restaurant didn't put them in the child's lap. The parent did. Right. They could say, oh, well, why did the parent just give that to the 4-year-old child in the car where the child could have choked? Or, yeah, I think it's a little bit ridiculous, right? I always told my girls, triple check before you move into the seat of your car. It's where you can get, before you move into the seat of your car, it's where you can get trapped. Since Risa, what? It angers me when people do these things just for money. I know. Absolutely. What, Elle? Oh, you're talking about the McNuggets, Elle? Yeah, but and then the one with the coffee, that woman really sustained like really horrific injuries. I don't know if you ever read that case. They made a lot of fun of it and stuff, but that coffee was like scalding, and she had real horrific injuries. Hey, Deirdre, realtor, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time. I hope you had a happy Mother's Day as well. That woman had horrific injuries. Let me tell you about that. Okay. The fourth. There was actually even an HBO premiere documentary about tort reform problems called Hot Coffee. So let me see here. Where does it say the terrible burns? She had suffered third-degree burns on 6% of her skin and lesser burns over 16% to the legs and groin area. But I warn you that these photos are graphic. Yeah, she really had burns. Oh, but there's a documentary that I'm going to be watching, and I know we will watch it through the Zoom for Patreons and members if you want to become a Patreon or member and join us. But it's about the Hillsong. Let me tell you what it's about if you haven't heard it, because I saw it today and I saw the trailer, okay? And it's on Hulu. And let me tell you when this starts. I believe it starts on the 19th. Premieres on May 19th. And we're going to watch it here, and then we're going to discuss it. So it's a fall from grace. Mega church Hillsong has faced, and we've talked about this, I believe, has faced a series of controversies over the years. Well, there's a new documentary. It's called The Secrets of Hillsongs, and it's going to break everything down. The 4-part FX docuseries premieres May 19th. It follows the various scandals that have taken place in the controversial church. Most notably, it touches on the organization's former pastor, Carl Lentz's infamous affair scandal. In the special, both Carl and his wife, Laura Lentz, gave their first public interview since their exit from the church, and that was back in November of 2020. You do not want to be in this chair, Carl says in the trailer. I cannot stress it enough. At the time, Carl, who got married to Laura in 2003, was fired from the organization by Hillsong Church Global senior pastor Brian Houston for moral failures and breaches of trust after news broke that Carl had an affair. I was unfaithful in my marriage, the most important relationship in my life, and held accountable for that. The failure is on me and me alone, and I take full responsibility for my actions, he said in a statement via Instagram at the time. I think we went over this at that time. I now begin a journey of rebuilding trust with my wife, Laura, and my children, and taking real time to work on and heal my own life and seek out the help that I need. I'm deeply sorry for breaking the trust of many people who we have loved serving, and understand that this news can be very hard and confusing for people to hear and process. I would have liked to say this with my voice to you in person because you are owed that, but that opportunity I will not have. Carl was well known for his former friendship with Justin Bieber. The Grammy winner once lived with Carl and his family in New Jersey and was even baptized by the pastor. Following the scandal, Bieber revealed in January 2021 that he was no longer affiliated with Hillsong and was a member of Church According to the documentary, Hillsong leadership was informed that incriminating text messages between Carl and a woman named Rainin Karam had been found. Karen, for her part, revealed her identity in an interview with Vanity Fair, which was published weeks after the firing. In May of 2021, the Lentz's former nanny, Leona Kims, accused her employer of sexual abuse. Kims was also a member of Hillsong Church while she was employed by the family. After Kim's allegations came to light, Houston was accused in August of 2021 of covering up child essay done by his late father, who was also a pastor in Australia. The first 2 episodes of The Secrets of Hillsong premiere Friday, May 19th on FX. So the first 2 episodes drop on the 19th and will be available to stream the following day at the 20th. The final episodes will drop May 26th. So we got a May 20th on, that's my daughter's birthday, May 26th. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be watching that. And this is the pastor that they're talking about here, this guy right here. And he admitted that he had some major lies and secrets he was carrying for years. If you're led by somebody, you have to trust them. One of the biggest mistakes of my life was that breach of trust for thousands of people, especially my wife and my children. It was October 25th, 2020. I remember that day. Carl was like, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" And as soon as he shut the door, my heart just dropped. Laura said about learning of her husband's first affair. He basically said, "I've been unfaithful to you." There are some things that you can recover from. There are other things I'll never recover from, he reflected in the series. Just the sound of her voice, the kind of cry that she had was like no other cry I've ever heard. Nobody should go through that, especially a wife that is flawless in character. I told her the best I could at the time, and at the time I wasn't even fully honest. He added that she wasn't mad, she was just so broken. People who have walked through infidelity know what I'm talking about right now. I'd sometimes get these little feelings, and then one night I found them in a compromising position, said Laura, recalling after finding Kim's and her husband together. I ran into the room and I shoved Carl and I hit him, and then I jumped on top of her and I punched her. The Australian native noted she was angry and freaked out overseeing the family's nanny with Carl. We were her pastors. We were her leaders. She was on staff. It got really messy. Instead of talking about it again, I would just stuff it down, she stated, while adding she felt gaslit by the duo. Carl and Laura share 3 children, daughters Ava and Charlie, in addition to a son, Roman. It's my granddog's name. There were mutual adult decisions made by 2 people who lied profusely, mainly to my wife. Carl said while addressing Kim's claims that she was sexually and emotionally abused by him per the outlet. It was an issue because I was a boss. This person was an employee. I'm responsible for that power dynamic and the management of it and the wisdom that goes with it, and I failed absolutely miserably. I'm tired of this damage. I'm tired of the wreckage. I'm tired of putting people I love through pain, he confessed in the series. I did those things. Those are on me. I take responsibility for those. For the rest of my life, I'll be making amends where I can. And it's also my job to go figure out how the heck that happened. Let's see what else is going on. Trying to see what other news we have here. Hold on a minute, there's something else. Oh, there's another upcoming documentary, and this time, hold on. It's about Anna Nicole Smith. It's on Netflix. Let's see. Netflix announced plans to release a documentary that tells the story of Anna Nicole Smith. Now that's got to be more than 15 years after, because I was still working at this other company nearly 15 years after. It's well after. When did she die? Anna, she died in 2006 in December, didn't she? Let me see. Yeah. April of... Hold on a minute. When did she die? She had a baby in September of 2006, because I was pregnant with Ethan when she died. And I was still working outside the house. Let's see. So she was... Oh, I thought it was December. Five months after the passing. Okay, so September, October, November, December, January, February of 2007. So that's 16 years after. They've got that wrong. So a feature-length documentary about Anna Nicole Smith, featuring never-before-seen footage of the iconic Playboy and Guess Jeans model who blazed a trail through the 90s before her tragic death at the age of 39. The network noted that the exclusive footage will offer a unique glimpse into her life out of the spotlight by featuring clips from Anna Nicole Smith's loved ones. After being raised in Texas as a child, she found fame when she landed her first Playboy cover in 1992. From there, the late actress's life was documented in a short-lived reality series titled The Anna Nicole Show, which aired from 2002 to 2004. In 1994, Smith's personal life made headlines when she married J. Howard Marshall, who was 63 years her senior at the time. She had a son, Daniel, from a previous marriage. She became a widow 1 year after she tied the knot with the oil tycoon. Following Marshall's death, she ended up in a lengthy battle with his family members over his estate. She welcomed her daughter, Danny Lynn, in September of 2006 after previously being linked to Larry Burkhead and Howard K. Stern. Days after the birth of her second child, Smith's son died in his mother's arms. In his mother's hospital room from an overdose. 5 months after her son passed away, Smith died of an accidental drug overdose at the age of 39. Shortly after her death, Burkhead and Stern fought for custody over her daughter. In April of 2007, the photographer was granted full custody after a DNA test confirmed that he was Danny Lynn's biological father. Since then, Burkhead has explained how little the public knew when it came to his relationship with Anna Nicole Smith. People think it was like a one-night stand that I had with Anna, and then I got lucky and I won this DNA lottery, when it was like a 2-year relationship with admittedly highs and lows, said the Kentucky native. But it was a crazy love story. Burkhead, who relocated with his daughter from California to his hometown, also opened up about how Danny Lynn resembles her late mother. She's got some personality traits of her mom's, and she's funny, but I think she has a good mix of the two of us. He added that his child has started to show an interest in acting. I brought her up and we saw the Beetlejuice play, and she's been bitten by the theater bug. She's taken a couple of classes in school for theater, which I was surprised by, but it's something that she's starting to show interest in. So this Anna Nicole Smith, You Don't Know Me, will be released on May 16th. The film, again, will use never-before-seen footage from a documentary about Smith's life. The content was never released and will cover the model's rise to fame as she attempted to adjust to motherhood. So I've got those documentaries coming up. And let's see here. Okay, so we've got all that, and let me see something else. My bangs are too long. Okay. I was hosting a big garden party at the weekend. I invited my entire friend group, plus their partners. One of my friends takes her dog everywhere. I told her no pets were allowed. Although it was a garden party, we were out in front of my home, and I have 4 cats. My cats do not like dogs, and neither do I. Anyway, my friend shows up with her dog. I told her that the dog was not welcome in my home or my garden, and I asked her to please take that dog home or elsewhere. I thought that my friend left. I went inside to sort some things out, went into my garden about 15 minutes later, and my friend was standing there in my garden talking to our friends. She doesn't live that close, so I was confused. I went to ask her how she got back so quickly. She told me she just popped in and was going since her dog isn't welcome. I asked where her dog was, and she shrugged her shoulders and said he was around. I went looking and found him at the bottom of the garden eating my crops and making a mess. I was angry. Told my friend, get her dog off the property. A few hours later she called me asking what her dog ate. I had no clue. My gardener plants and attends to everything. I told her I didn't know, but told her he'd made a huge mess and he dug things up and clearly eaten things. She shouted at me that her dog is sick and that she needs to find out what the dog ate. I told her I had no idea, but I'd ask my gardener. I'd text him, but it really was her problem. I did send the text, but my gardener didn't answer. My friend called again, wanting to know what her dog ate, but I told her I still don't know. She told me I obviously don't care if her dog dies and called me an a-hole. I still don't know what her dog ate, but apparently he's very sick and might die. I feel bad, but I told her not to bring her dog on my property, so I don't feel responsible like she says I am. Am I the a-hole? And just so you know, after being unable to reach my gardener, I took pictures of everything the dog dug up, which was a lot. I sent them to a friend, but I have no idea what it ate and what it just dug up. And for all I know, what it ate isn't even pictured because the whole section is a mess. There wasn't good enough for her. She wants me to tell her exactly what it ate, and I just don't know. I don't want to spend hours trying to figure it out when I just don't know if it even can be figured out. So are they the a-hole or not? Yes or no? No. Hi, 61. The friend is for bringing the dog. No. Everybody said no. Okay. Gotcha. My husband is my kids. My husband is my kid's stepdad. And I have an 11-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son. He's been with me since they were 4 and 7. Mother's Day comes up. I get up first. I make coffee. My husband gets up an hour later, and little by little, the kids get up. By 10 a.m., I've gone to the gym, and we're doing yard work. My 14-year-old son took his headphones off long enough to ask me when I was running him to a friend's grad party later. At one point, at about 9, I had mentioned to him the kids hadn't even acknowledged Mother's Day at all, and he went into the 11-year-old's room to tell her to make me a card, apparently. He did get me flowers on Friday and chocolate-covered strawberries and a mini cake. I would like to point out that I'm diabetic. And not only that, he has told me that my lack of care for my diabetes, I hadn't been maintaining my sugar at all, trying to get on track. My diet and my weight have been making him feel completely disrespected because it's important his partner care for herself. By 10 a.m., I was putting yard waste in a bag, and he asked me what was wrong, and I told him that no one has acknowledged the day at all. His exact words were, "Did you seriously need me to actually say the words?" And it was said in a very angry tone. Then he went on and on about my daughter was drawing a card as we speak, and how he tried to make the day special when he got me flowers and the shite I wasn't supposed to eat on Friday. Later, I sent the 14-year-old to walk to Walgreens to get a card for his friend's graduation party and a Mother's Day card for his grandmother, and he doesn't even bother to get me a card. The day before, my husband took the 11-year-old to the mall for something to do for a power outage. They didn't get me a card, etc. Later, I made a comment at dinner with my mom and my brother. "Look, my brother got me a card." And he was pissed and made a quiet reply and said, "You seriously needed me to get you a card?" He says I'm being ungrateful for the earlier efforts. I see it as zero effort. I have also told him point blank, very plainly, that there are 4 days a year, and yes, I expect a card on Valentine's Day, my anniversary, Mother's Day, and my birthday. We also had this exact fight last year. Am I really being unreasonable and ungrateful? Am I the a-hole? Yes or no? Excellent news, Nora. What's with her excellent news? Which happened? What's Nora's excellent news? Miss Nora's excellent news. Extortion of, about Natalie. I gotcha. So Elle says, not the a-hole. And Chris Reese says, no, not the a-hole. And Marco says, no, not the a-hole. And Lisa Al says, no, not the a-hole. And High 61 says, no, not the a-hole. And Deidre Realtor says, no, not the a-hole. Okay. Great. Let's see what else. Okay. I know this sounds awful, and I feel like it might be a terrible thing to do. So I need some advice. My husband has a long-term family friend named Jen. Jen and I aren't friends at all, but we are friendly when we see each other. When Jen had her first child, my husband purchased a fairly expensive item off of her baby shower registry as a gift. It was around $200 to $300 if I recall correctly. I have no issue with the gift or how much he spent. It was a nice item to gift her, and we were excited for her to grow her family with her then boyfriend, now husband. Fast forward a few years, Jen and her husband are high earners, both making over 6 figures. Jen announced she was pregnant again, very early along, and sent my husband her baby shower registry with her announcement text, which was full of high-priced items. Personally, I thought it was strange because she should still have most of the items from her first kid, and I didn't think people usually did full-blown baby shower registries after their first child. I was also surprised she was asking for gifts when she was still in the first trimester. But I'm a cautious person who didn't announce my pregnancy until 20 weeks, which I know is the extreme on the other side. I left it up to my husband what he wanted to do, but mentioned to him that I was surprised she was organizing another shower gifting event since she already has a young child and got brand new stuff then. My husband spent around $400 on a gift for her. Fine with me. A few weeks later, Jen had a traumatic miscarriage. I won't get into all the details, but she was devastated, and the cause of the loss likely means she won't be able to carry any future pregnancies to term. It's incredibly sad. And while I'm not close with Jen, my heart hurts for her. It's been a few months since her loss, and my husband is now unsure of how to navigate the gift. It's not something she can use for her older kid. Asking her to return the gift seems cruel, like adding a chore onto her grief, and it's probably past the return window anyway. I'm also not sure if she's going to try to have more kids. It's very risky for the baby and herself, and it seems incredibly insensitive to ask. Plus, she may not have decided. Asking her to pay us back also seems very cruel. My husband and I are also decently high earners, but $400 is still a lot of money. It's one thing if she's able to get a few years of use out of the item, and that's money well spent. But if it's going to sit in a box in her attic for years, then we're getting stuck. So would we be the a-holes if we asked about getting the gift back? Ideally, we could get our money back somehow, although it's probably too late. If we can't, then I'd like to just gift it to someone else who could use it. I feel awful just saying that, but that's how I feel. However, this is such a sensitive subject, and we don't want to pressure her if she's not ready to discuss it. Okay, so is she the a-hole? Let me see. She lost her baby, though. What do you say here? Oh, man. Hi, Judy with an I. Judy with an I goes, just popped in to say hi. Having trouble with the account again. What do you mean with your membership, Judy? What's up? It's in, good to see you, Judy. Hope you had a good Mother's Day. Yes, it's insensitive to ask for it back. That was big Texas news. What are we talking about? I think you're behind in the chat since Risa. The gift is hers, Judy with an I said. Chris Reese said they're an a-hole. Elle says absolutely an a-hole. Uh-oh. Do not ask for it back, Liz Top said. Do not. White Angel said they shouldn't just They should just chalk it up. Hi, White Angel. Chalk it up to a loss. No, I can't get into the Juju account. Oh, Juju bees. Margot says they are a-holes. Okay, a-holes, right? Okay. Sharon says, yes, they are a-holes. All right, let's see. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay. My brother-in-law booked a cruise for my mother-in-law's 60th birthday for her and my father-in-law with the intention of his other siblings, my sister-in-law and my husband, paying an equal share. We told him we didn't want to spend much, as I'm on maternity leave and won't be able to contribute maybe $400 at most, as cruises can be quite cheap. He then went out and booked a cruise for $2,700 without consulting or confirming with anyone else. That would mean we contribute $900 each. My sister-in-law paid $200 as it's all she could afford, and I relented and paid him $500 after he told us that apparently the father-in-law would cover any additional costs the siblings didn't pay. He has now messaged us all and stated that we all need to pay him $675 towards the cruise. I find this unfair, as we gave him our budget, which he ignored. He booked the cruise before confirming the amount with us, and now is angry that we seem resistant to pay so much. Would I be an a-hole if I refused to pay the additional $175 we owe him, even though we agreed to contribute to a cruise? Are they the a-hole? Hi, Norma. Love you back, Judy, with an I. You hate cruises. Al says, yes, they are a-holes. You would be the a-hole not to give that $175, Al? Okay. What's that? I don't even know what the heck that was. Something rolling. I don't know what that was. Something rolled. Something rolled. Yep. Deirdre says, yep. So you think, Norma says not the a-hole. So you think that they are the a-hole if they don't give the additionals? They already gave $500, and he didn't. And they told him they could only give about $400, and they gave $500. So you think they would be the a-hole? Really? I don't think so. I think if they said, "Hey, put your brakes on. Wife's on maternity leave. We can only afford $400," and then they give him $500, and then the brother asks for another $175 because he booked that big cruise. I don't think they're the a-holes. I'm sorry. I don't think they're the a-holes. No way. Oh, no. Pay what you can afford. I missed that part. Okay. All right. Okay, you guys misunderstood. I thought so. All right. see here. Okay. I'm a 26-year-old female working in a local restaurant alongside someone named Lisa, who's a 23-year-old female. We've been working together without any issues for about a year, but recently something's happened that's making me feel that I might be the bad guy. A couple of weeks ago, Lisa approached me, appearing quite distressed, and asked if I could cover her shifts for a week due to a family emergency. Seeing her so upset, I immediately agreed. I wanted to help her out. I ended up working 12-hour days, and by the end of the week, I was pretty much worn out, but glad I could help. Then a few days ago, I stumbled upon some photos on social media. Social media. It wasn't a family emergency. Lisa was on a vacation with her boyfriend. They seemed to be having a blast, enjoying the beach, dining out at nice restaurants. I felt deceived, and I confronted Lisa about it when she got back. Instead of apologizing, Lisa got defensive. She said she needed a break. Didn't think I'd cover for her if she told me the truth. She argued that her mental health was just as important as any family emergency, but she didn't technically lie because her need for a break was an emergency for her. I was pretty upset, and I told her I won't cover her shifts in the future because I can't trust her now. So now she's telling our other coworkers that I'm not a team player and that I'm overreacting. Some of my colleagues have been giving me the cold shoulder, which is making me question my decision. So am I the a-hole for refusing to cover any of her shifts from now on? And then, let's see, what do you say? Yes or no? 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 No, not L says not the a-hole. Hold on a minute. I got to get something. I got to find out something. I've got to find out something. Okay. Okay, you're all saying not the a-hole, and I agree. She lied, right, Al? We don't like liars. Exactly. Okay. We don't like liars. What happened to my hair? Spending town to get something. What the heck is going on? Okay. Let's see. Okay. My neighbor has a beautiful orange, lovely cat that is outside about 85% of the day. He always runs up to greet me when I come home from work or I'm leaving my home. I pet him for a bit and go about my day. He recently started following me into my apartment. Kept the door wide open so he can leave whenever he wants. He mainly just lays around and gets pets. The other day, my neighbor came home, saw her cat coming out of my apartment, and started to yell at me that I was trying to steal her cat. She threatened to call the police. I apologized and explained that sometimes I'm lonely and I enjoy the cat's company. My own cat had to be put down a while ago, and it's just nice to have a furry buddy to interact with. Now my neighbor won't talk to me. and has called the landlord on me multiple times for random reasons. I parked in the wrong spot. I left my garbage on the deck. I have multiple people in and out of my apartment, etc. Most things aren't true. I have a garbage can on my neck that's been there for years. I work 12-hour shifts, so I have no life and no one visits me. And she asked me to switch spots because she had someone coming over and needed extra space. I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I never held the cat hostage. He has always been allowed to leave. I've tried to apologize many times, but she won't hear it. I'm not sure what else I could do. Am I the a-hole? For having the orange cat in the house? Are they the a-hole? Are they not the a-hole? Are they the a-hole or not the a-hole? Still have those bruises on my arms. Look at that. Doctor's gonna be like, what the freak, lady? Are you okay? Are you okay, ma'am? Nope. She's just jealous that the cat likes the one person more. Definitely not, Nora says. Definitely not. Okay, everybody's in nice agreement. Uh-oh. I don't know what the freak just happened. I didn't know what the freak just happened. Okay. All right, let me see here. Okay, let's try this one. I'm 23-year-old woman. My son Jackson recently turned 5. We had a small party with some of his friends from daycare, my parents, and my boyfriend's family. Since he's old enough to make a lot of his own decisions this past year, I let him choose what he wants for his birthday. This year, Jackson said he wanted a chocolate birthday cake with blueberries in the middle and worms on top. I wasn't sure about this combination of things, so I told him that while I know he likes it, his party guests probably would not enjoy chocolate and blueberries, and asked him to pick a different flavor. I suggested Oreos or raspberries or blueberries, and he said he wanted to think about it. And a while later, he came back with a completely different cake idea: coconut strawberry, Lilo and Stitch cake, and he asked if we could have it instead. I approved his new idea, so we got it ordered. At the party, I was approached by my boyfriend's parents and accused of forcing interests on my child. I asked what they were on about, and he said that Jackson had just told them about the cake situation. I was confused, as Jackson has been super excited about his cake. I talked to him after the party, and he said he originally wanted the worm cake but loves his Lilo and Stitch cake. I still feel like a bad mom for telling him to pick a different cake. Am I the a-hole? Is she the a-hole? Sends Risa, you are behind. No, no, yes. No, no. Okay. Well, the consensus was they said she was the a-hole. Just to say, it said she was the a-hole. All right, let's go on to something else. Let's see what's going on. Trying to see if there was anything else worth talking about here. There were some things worth talking about that I saw on my I don't remember what it was. It was something, what the heck did I see? Something important. I don't remember what it was. It was something about no. Anyway, I think I'm going to call, I know it's, I don't know, probably haven't been here enough time, but I'm very sleepy. Let me see. Let me just see something. When you go away, you get really tired and yeah. Yikes. Let's see. But I am feeling sleepy. I'm going to try to do earlier live for you tomorrow, like 2 videos, like 2 lives. one earlier in the day. And I would have done one earlier today, but then I went out and spent most of the day with my son, Michael. So I will try to do, oh, wait a minute, hold the phone. Oh, but I can still do it. I have to go to the doctor tomorrow, so maybe I will do one of those driving lives that we love on the way to the doctor. Yes. Or at some point check in with you about the doctor, and then I'll do a live like around 10:30 or so. Hopefully. Love to do that because we really have to get back on track. Back to work. But I'm really feeling tired, so what I'm going to do is, I believe I have to start a new Zoom. And then don't get scared, so for a minute it might time out. I'm feeling hungry. I had that dinner with my son, so I don't know, I might just have a cup of something and something or other. What am I doing here? What am I doing? I can't find my Zoom. Okay, I know I can't find my Zoom. How silly. And don't worry about it. I'm still here. You can still hear me. I'm going to get my new Zoom. My new Zoom review is coming straight for you. Okay. Don't worry, even though you see a blue screen, I'm still with you. I'm still here. Still with you. I'm just tired. Okay. Oh my gosh. You love going places since recent? Okay, well, I will try to do that. Love you guys. God bless. Good night to all. See you tomorrow. Tired. All right, let me end this, and everybody take care. I love you guys. Hi, Hawk. You always come in late. Well, it's probably early for you, but I'll see you guys. You made the 10 trip to your mother's brother's ashes, so now I'm tired, but I love Carolyn's road trips. Oh, thank you, Sensory Son. I hope that you had a lovely memorial for your mother. God bless. Good night. Love you guys.